witches and demons have come to deny the beauty and peace of our homeland. We know the message has to arrive, and the King of the North will rise.
much for watching. If you like the song and you want to download it, you can get it at any of the sites in the description.
our homeland. We know the message has to arrive, and the King of the North will rise.
All right, everyone. I do apologize for the late start. We had a lot of things that we needed to work out. It's going to be a big session tonight, and I sincerely hope that you're looking forward to it. I know we all are, right here on Lionhead Gaming. It is Thursday evening, which means it is time for some Song of Rapture. Oh boy, I'm excited. Monsieur Omen, are you ready? All right. Well, without further ado, what do you have for us tonight?
So, when we last left our valiant vanguard, they were exiting the now desolated nest of a group of cretinous dragon worshippers, having found themselves limping their way back to a hideout and awaiting the battle to come. But what happened in those precious, dangerous, life risking moments before is not my story to tell. So, can someone please tell us what happened on the last episode of Song of Rapture?
Alright.
No one wants any tasty
Hello, everyone.
inspiration?
Tamarkan here! Thank you. Welcome. Listen to our tale of what we are getting up to next time. And, well, this time, I suppose. I can't talk. So, last time, as we were digging our ways through the nest of kobolds worshipping the Subsidious, trying to make sure that he did not have any reinforcements when we came for his hide, we found ourselves chasing after a larger one of these red-scaled creatures after it singed us quite badly with an explosion of fire. But we very quickly realized that why did he run away? And the place that he was running to, it gave us a bad feeling. Some of us healed ourselves, preparing for the next fight, as Quildor led the charge. However, traps that we were cautious of were certainly there, but not exactly in the form that we may have expected. It seems the walls in between Quildor and the rest of the group crumbled, the ceiling collapsed, and he was separated from us. We heard the sound of fighting almost immediately as Quildor put himself into a corner and tried to burn some of their barricades to light to try to create a place where he could fend off the attackers long enough for us to arrive. And, well, he fared quite well. The rest of us, barred behind broken rock, had to find another way. Thankfully, realizing that we had scouted these small tunnels in the walls before, knew that they usually had separate exits on different sides. So, we started our advance, trying to cut our way through the kobolds hiding within, waiting in ambush, and quickly making our way into this larger room where it seemed like almost 100 of these creatures swarmed in every direction. We cut them down one at a time, but they were almost unending, with strange contraptions that hurled boulders and pots that seemed to reek a horrible smell, even enough to make me gag for quite a while. I could barely even stomach the thing. Eventually, we started to wear them down, but they were wearing us down as well. And the idea of the one lurking in the back, the one that lured us here, unleashing its magic upon us, it was not a good thought, as we're not really sure if we could withstand it. So, thankfully, our good friend Luna had a plan. She took the creature, found it within the dark, and with a bit of her shadows, eat into its mind. And with that, it was no longer theirs. It was ours. Although the battle was not easy even after that. The creature turned on its own allies as we fought bravely. Wounds after wounds still inflicted upon us. We tried to do the best we could to defend ourselves, but it was countless boulders and javelins and swords coming for us. And eventually, the orders given to the beast to cut down its allies, well, turned quite dire for Quildor. He was surrounded by the creatures, they were piling on top of him, and just one quick explosion of flame took care of quite many of them. But Quildor himself was in a blast. He fell, and the rest of us very quickly started to get surrounded once more. We continued to fight. Thankfully, I was quick enough to get to him, to get a potion into his gullet, make sure that he did not stay down. But in return, Samantha also fell, and again we continued to fight the last remaining creatures, but their leaders were still alive. Eventually, with a calling of Persephone's magic, Samantha indeed also raised to her feet, and we defeated the remaining of them, except for the one that Luna still had control over. We tied him, bound him, and, aware of his magic, tried to bind his mouth as well, thinking that we could get answers out of the beast. But the flames that he seemed to summon, they were not so easily quelled, it seems. With just a blink of his eyes, the flames erupted around his body and almost claimed quite a number of us. Almost all of us just barely standing. Finally, had no other recourse but to finish the beast. With all of that said, almost all of us were barely standing on our feet, except for Swift Hollow, the ever cautious, the ever agile of our group, able to avoid every blow and flame that was hurled in her direction. So, as we made our escape, taking a few trinkets with us, Swift Hollow continued her advance forward, deeper down into the midst of this volcano. Within, she found one quite a long trek, actually. With her haste and speed, it took her about an hour or so to make it to the next site. Small kobolds, hiding down in what looks like a mouth and pool of lava, dealing with quite a hoard of gold. Certainly the nest of such a creature. But her time was done. Even her speed and her remaining fortitude was starting to wade at the heat of the place, and she could not stay long. So, as we all escaped, we found ourselves back into the hole on the side of the mountain which we hid away before, trying to mend our wounds and rest, hoping for Swift Hollow's quick return, and, well, eventually waiting for our prey to arrive.
Very well done. Give yourself some DM inspiration, Tamarkan.
Thank you very
Alrighty.
much.
As we do return to the Valiant Vanguard, now resting upon a site where they have been sort of holding down once they've reached the edge of this great mountain, find themselves sort of nestled in what still seems to be a piping hot but suitable shelter from the heat of this mountain. A small, looks like maybe a bird nest or something for a bird, much larger than that you'd expect to be flying around this place. In the eastern side of this mountain, it would be about 8 o'clock by the time you guys would drag yourselves up from the mouth of the volcano. And I'm assuming, how would you guys get back? It was about a 10-minute trek and then some climbing, unless someone else has
Persephone's
some other
gonna
sort of
wild shape.
magic.
Persephone's gonna wild shape into a giant eagle and transport everyone one by one. But I don't know how Swift Hollow's gonna get back because she's an hour behind us.
Okay. Just spending some time transforming into a great, basically massive eagle large enough to carry each and individual person, maybe one or two at a time. For finding some new fortitude in this form, as before you were quite battered and worn. Now it's like a breath of fresh air, as if your previous weakness was no longer was just a thing of the past. And yeah,
Oh, you know what?
guys. Oh,
I could just hold that form for 4 hours, so I can just stay like that and wait for a bit for Swift Hollow.
sure. As maybe spending about 20, 30 minutes just ushering everyone back down into the hole. Probably taking maybe an extra trip or so, I'm assuming, some kobolds with you.
Yep.
Gotcha. Pretty easy to carry with your large claws. Yep, you guys would probably be waiting about 2 hours. Swift Hollow pressed on further into the tunnel, taking an hour to get there, and then she'd have to take about as much time going back up. As Swift Hollow, we'll say that for later. Is there anything that you're going to want to do in the first couple hours while you're waiting for Swift Hollow, or are you simply just waiting?
I suppose if Persephone is going to wait for Swift Hollow to return, maybe she'd take the first watch in her eagle-eyed. We don't have much time. I think we need to rest.
I would agree. I can take the last two.
Of course. I was going to wait for Swift Hollow to come back, but she's not. I don't know how long that'll be. I found some trinkets upon that one with his helmet here, that helmet that Persephone has. And this, as I pull out the large jingling gold necklace. Seems quite fancy. It's the one that glows with the power that it seemed to be, well, using in that fight to bolster it.
Oh, it's pretty obvious the moment you see it. It's gleaming in gold, and the moment you look at the small amulet hanging on the chain, it's a pair of cupped hands almost upholding what is very obvious to be a sunburst, which is, you would know it as a symbol of Sune. How a kobold got a hand on this? A little strange, but more or less, looks like a very well made, and somehow in this sort of dirty nest they've lived in, somehow well maintained amulet of Sune.
Wonderful. I suppose I'll take a last watch with Quildor. Yeah. I like to keep my eye open for when the creature returns.
Oh yeah. Sure. They sort of shuffle their way over to one of the walls. They can see you could come back, and you can see Zasir has had your book sort of just sitting, like it's no longer open and read, it's like sort of closed and put neatly in a corner, and he's sort of kind of standing at attention seeing these other kobolds come, and he motions them over. Seems like he's already standing in position.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little short rest, and then I'm gonna take a long rest because
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable going to sleep, barely being alive, and with kobolds about. So I'm just gonna patch up my wounds, try to patch my burns, just so I can actually sleep comfortably and not bleed out in my sleep.
Sure.
And then I'll go to sleep.
Begin to meditate.
All right. Take a sip. What about you, Luna?
As soon as we get to the cave, Luna's mostly just going to go sit down against the wall, just kind of relax a bit. Probably not long rest, a short rest. I need those hit dice. Actually, no, we don't need the hit dice. We're probably going to go straight to the dragon. So yeah, I'll take a short rest before taking a long rest. And then
Sure.
if we're all going to go to sleep before Swift Hollow gets back or something, I'll probably just be asleep all night.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. And anything else you're doing, Persephone, or are you just simply beginning or just waiting for Swift Hollow in your eagle form?
Yeah, just wait for Swift Hollow in my eagle form, just keeping an eye on like the ledges, because I know Swift Hollow knows her way around, so I'm hoping I could see her trying to come over and then expedite her travel.
Okay. Let's see. Get one thing out real quick.
Because
Just checking.
I don't think a short rest would count for me in my wild shape.
Technically you can. You can short rest as long as you're not going unconscious.
Then
You just can't heal yourself.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can't heal
I don't
your
get anything else.
non-form.
That was mostly the question. I don't get anything else on a short rest.
Okay.
So this should be it.
The one thing I say you'd probably be noting, Persephone, in your giant eagle form is simply that as it's basically late into the night, there's an overcast overhead. It's really hard to see. Your eagle eyes blink, and you can't quite make out your eyes are sharp enough with your bird vision that you can make out some fine details up close, maybe like 30 feet away, but beyond that, it's all shadows. So you do not have your dark vision. As Swift Hollow, give me a Constitution saving throw on your way back up, with advantage because you are wearing your Drake cloak. Ooh, yeah. Seems like it's getting a little bit hotter, but maybe it's just bolstered by the fight being untouched throughout this entire skirmish. You're able to withstand the heat a lot better. Is there anything you're wanting to do on your way back up, or because you are basically going
Not
back
particularly.
up? Okay.
I'm assuming that there wasn't another map. It's a fairly straight shot from the kobold to the center of the volcano.
Yep, essentially it's like a winding down path. It does take some detours here and there. You find some spots where the dark path is sort of lit up by, it looks like a small pool of molten rock. And you know that you're walking gently by it. You can hear it bubbling and hissing, and sometimes the occasional spark of fire like rolls across its surface. But it's just kind of a winding path that goes up and around, leading down, down, down into the mountain. But nothing, no detours, no breaks in the path. Strangely enough, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like hive activity here. No strange tunnels burrowing off into the walls somewhere else. It seems like this is like the only, I guess you'd call, straight shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Eventually you make it back to where you can see the devastated camp. You can see even in the darkness with your dark vision, some of the smoke smoldering on the tents rising up. The corpses of the kobolds piled upon each other. Is there anything you want to do while you're heading back through this area, or are you just making your way back?
Making her way back.
Okay. So yeah.
Nothing left for her here.
Sure. Then after about the end of the second hour, Persephone, your eyes starting to strain. You could see coming out from the hole and eventually making the way between the shadows a shape. Actually, yeah, you can probably make it out. I'm assuming at this point, like with your high perception, you could barely make out the slightest sense of movement. As Swift Hollow, I'm assuming are you being stealthy or make yourself known? Just trying to imagine how this plays out.
Oh, what was that? Sorry,
I'm just basically figuring out, like, you have a giant eagle waiting for you. She can't see in the dark. Are you making yourself known, or are you being Swift Hollow, the living shadow herself?
Yo, what's up? I'm sure that won't mess her up. Pretty sure because I have the standard deal. No, I didn't actually take it, so I don't have torches. I guess I'll minor illusion a torch.
You can
Yeah,
make
funny.
a torch.
Who needs
It doesn't
crusty?
cast the light.
Yeah, minor illusion doesn't also.
Yeah, I show the glow stick. Look, it's glowing. It doesn't emit light, but it's glowing.
You can just see it once they're within range. But yeah, eventually your eyes do eventually pick up on like the slightest sense of color in the distance, and you can see it bobbing, getting closer to and fro. And yeah, Swift Hollow, with your super high perception and dark vision, you can easily make out in the distance there's a giant eagle perched waiting for you. And yeah.
Yeah, whoosh.
Oh yeah, that's
it. We have the rings, guys.
Yeah, we have the radio, whatever. No one remembers. No one uses that.
But yeah. Purse doesn't make any indication within the cave. She just whoosh, goes over to where she sees that shadowy form.
Right, and then you
And
see
then
this giant
purchase.
eagle come close.
And then perches herself
Put him down.
next to Swift Hollow so that she can get on. Just a little eagle bow. Eagle bow.
Uh huh. All right, to base camp.
Alrighty, and after about 10 more minutes, the second hour comes to an end. You find Swift Hollow swiftly bring her down in a mostly silent descent to the side of the mountain. You see the eagle. Everyone who's awake now can see the eagle basically perch itself on the edge of the cliffside, pull itself into this hole, reduce back. I'm assuming reduce back to Persephone or staying in eagle form, and eventually Swift Hollow comes off as the valiant vanguard has found themselves all together again.
Yeah, Purse is going to go back into her normal form after she brings Swift Hollow back and just immediately put herself against the wall. Oh my god, I forgot how terrible I felt.
Get your rest.
What check? I I have these poultices that I wrapped around Azir's wound. I made a couple more last time we were resting. I think it would do them better. Just because it heals very slowly. I have 4. This first opens her herbalist flap, just peeling back this boar's face and just pulling out 2 little spongy pieces of moss and some twine for you to tie them with. And she just holds them out for you. Can you get them? I'm not moving anymore.
So you're waiting to put it on them when they're conscious, or are you waiting to? Okay. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, but it doesn't take much longer after Persephone and Swift Hollow return that it seems like they've begun to stir a bit, haven't fully woken up, but now that everything's sort of calmed down, they're laying on the hard stone. First one to wake up is the once well-armored one with the shield and spear who was quite resilient before. Immediately starts to stir. He kind of bumps into one of the others that you've had sort of lined up along the wall. Eventually, he pulls himself onto his back and tries to claw at the wall and pick himself up, even before his eyes are really open. And the moment he sees he's in a small cave surrounded by, unfortunately, familiar faces, he immediately gets his hands slapping and scratching down, trying to grab at something at his side, but there's nothing there. And he realizes his arms are kind of held together and his body's sort of tied up, and he's just finding him slowly but surely coming to realize his positioning. You see him like he's like sort of nestled, trying to keep his vulnerable spots, which there are many of them, pressed up against the wall, trying to wait from you. He's just sort of growling and snarling. You can see his little lizard lip puckered, or not puckered, like lift up away from his tiny little sharp teeth. But he doesn't really have much to show. He's just sort of like a small growling dog.
There's no audio going through stream.
You guys are. Okay, I wasn't. I see. There we go. Yeah,
There
so
you go.
Samantha is just going to try to be as calm and persuasive as she can with the angry one who's just woken up, telling him to let me bandage his wounds and that, I do not want to kill him.
Mm-hmm. He seems to be very defensive.
Understandably.
Okay, so you bandaging his wounds. What are you doing?
Yeah, I would use the one of the poultice on his more grievous looking injuries.
Sort of seems like this device, I guess you'd call it, Persephone gave you, is simple enough. It's like a massive moss, I guess. You sort of just use it. There's some tie essentially to it you can use to wrap it around a wound, kind of like a bandage, but it has something on it, some sort of film or some maybe liquid or substance mixed within that might help treat his wounds. And yeah, you look for the most grievous one on his body. There seems to be this large, like battered, like bruise. What seems to be a cut and would have been bleeding if it hadn't clotted up before on his shoulder. Man, it looks like Tamar Khan had landed a good blow on him with his heavy staff. You wrap it around that shoulder. You can see him like gritting his teeth and kind of shaking, but unable to really resist. And then after a while, he continues to growl and keep himself away from you. But slowly but surely, the growling begins to subside, and he just sort of keeps his distance, as much distance as he can keep while being unable to move.
Indeed. After he sort of calms down, I'd repeat the process with the other one that was unconscious, and once the 5 of them are conscious, I would take out just a bit of my rations and infinite bottle of rum, and I'd drink the rum for myself, but also just split my rations with myself and with the 5 of them, giving them the meat and etc. etc.
Sure. So the last one, stripped of his backpack and all of his inventions, this tiny little tinker trap maker, is incredibly confused when he first comes to. He finds himself bound, able to move, and then immediately sees someone speaking to them calmly in the language he understands. Sort of doesn't resist, just kind of looks around, eyes sort of bugging out, peeking from one side of the room to the other, almost like looking in 2 directions at once, like an actual lizard would. As eventually he just sort of watches you carefully bandage him up. You can sort of feel him shaking a bit, but he just also doesn't resist. And then eventually, once you bring out the food, Zasir takes a big handful, graciously bows to you, and takes his meal. One of the normal kobold workers just takes his and sort of scuttles back to the wall. The wounded one, with his sort of small burned hand from the acid, takes his quite graciously and sort of sits between Zasir and the other one. Although Zasir, at the moment, every time one of the kobolds gets close to Zasir, he just sort of pulls himself away. Just like gives him like a weird look of disgust. The bound one, are they still bound? The growling one, are you keeping them tied up or not?
As I take out the food, as I take out the food, I would ask the defensive one if he can behave himself and just eat with the rest of us. You are quite stubborn. I do not want to have to feed you, but if you're going to eat, yeah, as I just sort of take just like a small pile of jerky and just try to put it close enough to him that he can eat it himself, without having to necessarily untie his hands.
Okay. Yeah, sort of putting it near his head. You can see him like sort of growling at you. The moment you pull away, he looks down. You can trying to bite as much as he can in his little mouth, fit as much, and almost starts to choke it down. But it's sort of like if we feed too much food to a dog, he starts like opening his mouth, trying to chew it all at once. He just starts mouthing the whole thing, and then the other one, unless he's untied, he'd just take it, but he wouldn't say anything. Just be sort of cautious, keeping his hands as close to himself as he can.
I'd untie the hands of the backpack wearing one. His legs are still tied.
Gotcha. Yeah, the moment like you start feeding them food, hands it, he takes some, and like his hands almost like springs, like they don't go too far from his body until they absolutely have to, and snap, they take some food, and he sort of scuttles back to the rest of the kobolds and just starts nibbling and tearing and eating. So it seems like they're eating, if not happily, they're eating heartily.
Persephone's like looking over at the whole scene. She's just got like a smile on her face, just watching everything go on. I don't think she's ever seen Samantha be so tender with anything besides Nina.
Phobos.
Okay. Anything else the rest of you guys are doing, or are you starting your long rest?
I am going to take out my now empty stone of reserve, and I am, with my last 3rd level spell slot, cast a 3rd level create or destroy water into it.
Okay. Taking your stone, suffusing, almost like you're casting the magic, but then it suddenly suffuses, pulls from your hand, and the stone feels not heavier physically, but like if there's a new presence inside. As it seems to take hold in the stone.
Okay. Swift Hollow, how far did you get?
I found the lava antechamber. Straight shot from the kobolds.
How long?
An hour. My estimates.
Okay. Well, everything should still be fine. I needed to know that. Thank you.
You were able to get there without taking a potion, correct?
Cloak helped. I had all of my vitality as well.
So maybe not everybody needs an elixir. At least to get there.
Everyone should still have one for the fight, for that dragon breath, but I don't think we have to really worry about taking it and then wasting an hour to get there and then losing it.
What about the people that wouldn't have a cloak? Do you think they would fare well in the journey over to the lava?
I think that's just Tamarkon and Quildor. And they are...
Actually, it's Meanquell.
Does Tamarkon have a cloak? Does it look over at him?
No. He's practically melted.
They are... Well, those two are the toughest of us, I suppose. I do not know what we'll do about you, Luna.
I thought we made 4 cloaks.
I also thought we made 4 cloaks, but...
We had 3.
You killed 2 things, you made 1 out of 2 halves of a creature that got split in half. You're gonna plan to make more, but you never did.
Yeah, we never acquired the other drakes.
I mean,
Well, if Quiller needs to take it when we're going down there, I do still have an extra one. I should be fine. The heat didn't bother me that much. From where we were.
I have an idea of a way to... Yeah, I'm not gonna like it, but... I doubt he'll like it either, but we'll figure it out in the morning. But this way I can share a cloak with Tamarkon or something. And you can use mine, and that should cover more of us, I think.
All of us but Quill.
Then he should take the potion.
He'll need it for the fight.
The concern is if he would make it to the fight just fine without a cloak. Or if we would have to give him 2 potions, one for the travel and then one for the fight.
We only have enough for each of us, don't we?
Yeah, just one for each.
It sounds like
Guys, still have
someone's
extra.
just going to. Oh, you have an extra one?
Yes. I bought one at the shop, remember?
I did not. I gave you the money and sent you on your way. I did not know what you bought.
You bought a Cinder Still elixir?
Nah, it is a potion of fire
No,
resistance.
Yeah, just a regular potion of fire.
Just a normal, non-homebrew, gross thing.
Okay, because my thing
as
also
long as
protects
we
against
have the
high heat.
cloaks, you should be fine. That is a measure of protection that does not step up to the potions, but will do you well enough. It did for me.
Okay. I'm going to prepare some stuff to help with any fires that might be caused from within, and also maybe to just push a bunch of kobolds around and keep them out of the way. Is there anything else I should keep in mind in the morning?
You'll also have a way to block up the entrance, right?
Yes, I'll block the entrance.
And worst comes to worst, it's always good when you can call on those fairy friends of yours if we need to make a quick escape by flying. The owls proved quite useful last time. Hopefully they can again. Or if something goes wrong and we need to leave, it's probably our best bet to get out of there quickly.
Okay. Miss Persephone is going to, with that, just start getting ready for bed because she is exhausted.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to do? Seems like you're going to get started with your long rest. It's about, by the time Sotalo gets back, you've waited for her to go down and back up. All of you uncongregated, discussed your plan. It's about 10 o'clock in the evening. It's going to be about, 6 a.m. if you guys get your full rest? Just giving you a time scale. What are your watches?
I got last.
Obviously, I'm on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
What's a watch?
I got the last two, but if we got back there at 8, that means I'm already 2 hours in my trance.
Oh, yeah. Cool. It looks like Cool Dark has already been resting up. Good shit.
Will might have the last 3.
Alrighty.
Although I also started early, so
Yeah, I think
I
it's.
guess my last watch would be starting at like 4 in the morning instead of 6.
I guess
Or ending
first would have
4 in the
been
morning.
me and Persephone waiting for Swift Hollow to get back, and then second sounds like just me, and third sounds like me and Quill, and fourth sounds like me, Quill, and Tamar Khan.
As a Purse gets ready for bed, she brings out her bubble to protect the cave.
Air seems to become a bit more comfortable, but not so much that you can't, find you can find yourself laying against one of the hot stones, but eventually it will begin to wear on you, as this is not the most comfortable place, but it's a little bit more of a bit more homely, a little bit more of a reprieve from some of the heat. As inside, any fires that might light just seem to extend their light outward from the edge of the cave and then just vanish, as you guys are kept well hidden. Good shit. As with that, people bringing themselves to bed, we go to first watch. Is there anything you guys want to do?
Direct my kobolds to get some sleep, and we'll talk in the morning.
All right, seems like they're all resting up. It seems like Zasir is pretty exhausted as well. You don't know how far he made it into the book, but it seems like it's been enough to. You don't really have bags under your eyes when you're a scaly-skinned creature, but probably the equivalent being loose hanging scales, almost like they're flaking off. As he is quite exhausted, the other kobolds, having been through battle with you guys, also seem to be pretty battered and ready to rest up and recover from their wounds.
So Tal will be awake for the first 2 and then transfer the last 2. That way, all Quildor is trancing. There's always an elf awake, basically.
Okay. Always got to keep an elf awake.
It's true. Otherwise, you end up being on a shelf.
Is there anything you guys want to do? Or you're going to simply move on?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Some time passes. You can see outside, maybe just beyond the edge of the cave, some of this dark and almost impossible to see with just the lack of light from the overcast is continuing to hang overhead. It almost looks like we'd expect to see maybe the soft glow of like moonlight in the distance is almost completely pitched now. Even with your senses sharpened, you can barely make out anything beyond as you guys are still in the dead of night. But eventually the 2 hours pass and second watch comes on. Still nothing, nobody doing nothing. Alrighty, just making sure. I'll give you opportunities. As more time passes, but fortunately, you can see that maybe off in the distance, some sort of sliver of silver gives way. Hard to tell from inside the cave, but it seems like some of the overcast is beginning to actually part, but only ever slightly. And we come down to what seems to be, I think at this point, Coolor, you'd find yourself coming back to coming. What's it like when you trance, Coolor?
Pretty much, he's perfectly still. He has his blade out, laying on his lap as he's kneeling. As he just doesn't even move an inch. He almost looks like a stone statue.
Alrighty. And slowly but surely, your mind comes back together, your semi consciousness becoming conscious, and in the second watch, you find yourself awake.
You just see Samantha sort of sitting to herself between the group and the kobold, just looking at her scepter, just seeming to like move these strange little green eldritch runes, and just seeming to almost sort of like read a book like that doesn't really have anything to it. Like her scepter is just the spine of it, and she's just turning pages of just energy as she just seems to be studying something. But when you arise, you see like two of her snakes sort of look up over at you and just sort of open their mouths at you, just like happily to see that you're awake and doing all right. But she doesn't really look up at you.
I'll stand up and I'll walk over to Samantha. So, heard anything?
It has been quiet. They are sleeping soundly, as are the rest of them. And she says they. She sort of looks to the group, and then as the rest of them, she looks to the kobolds. I am, well, beseeching my goddess for new gifts. Something that will aid me in the darkness of that place. In the darkness of, well, Luna as well.
Samantha, what is your goal with all of this?
With everything, that is a bit much. But I presume you're talking about them.
No, I'm talking about all of this. You talk about uniting the guilds in Oakwell. Will you go off here and capture these creatures? One would almost say it's double-headedness.
You think me two-faced.
No, I think you wish to serve two end goals. It is very difficult to serve two masters, Samantha.
I only serve myself. My end goal is, well, I am trying to consolidate power, Quildor. Power and influence, so that I can get what it is I want. This is a bit of a side project, something that I'm just doing to see if I can do it.
How is it that you came to lead this valiant vanguard?
Mostly just closeness with Gregory and Jody. He saved my life, she gave me a warm place to sleep, and I was indebted to her when she sort of put this whole adventuring group, or whatever it is, together with some stragglers from town. She says that, and most of her snakes sort of look at Persephone. And some people who are no longer with us. And I suppose Luna as well. I was quick to make my perspective on things known. My way of doing things and seeing things was heard, as was Gregory's. For a time, the two of us seemed to be the deciding factor for what it was we were going to be doing. That sort of changed with him taking more of a moral center, it seemed like, perspective on things, not wanting to make decisions so much as make sure we were doing the right thing. It led to a bit of conflict with Persephone when it came to that whole centaur business, but in the end it worked out. I think he was overthinking things. I don't know that I really am the leader of the Valiant Vanguard, Quildor. I certainly wouldn't prescribe myself that role, though I think I would be good at it. But I am the person that speaks for the Valiant Vanguard more often than not, when it comes to dealing with nobles and things like that. I say the things that make sense, the things that help all of us, even if some of us don't realize how.
Samantha, I have led thousands of men and women in battle. You have two key characteristics that I think make you not suitable to lead people. Number one, you said the number one thing that you care about is yourself. To be a leader, you have to put yourself last. Number two, you said that it is you that makes all of the sways in talking with others. It's you that does things. It's the group. Persephone is wise beyond her years. Luna has a way about her that just cuts through the bureaucracy and nobility in her conversation. Swift Hollow is one of the most skilled assassins I have experienced in my time. Tamarkan would do anything for excitement, adventure, but his heart is pure, curious. But you seem to focus in on yourself. That worries me. It makes me think that if push came to shove, you would choose something that would give you immense power over those here. I think you would struggle with that decision, no doubt. But it is worrisome.
I was made an interesting offer once. I was not certain what would come of it, but it was one I turned down because I felt like it would alienate my sense of self. I said I put myself over everything, and I do mean that. I am very, very selfish, Quildor. But I understand the limitations of self-interest. I make everyone else part of my self-interest. I give so that I can benefit. Does that make me less altruistic? Certainly. But that also means that if I have the opportunity to make sure that you are as prepared as I need you to be, or anyone else for that matter, I will. I'll do everything I can to make sure that you stay safe. Why? Because it benefits me. You being alive help keep me safe. But that also means I'm looking out for you. I care deeply about everything that I have a connection to. I was infuriated just because someone stole something of mine because I cared about it. It was just a simple horse. Most people would let that sort of thing go. I had more than enough money to buy another one. Just like I'm sure I could go find somebody else that wears heavy armor and swings around a sword and bears a shield. But I have a connection to you, Quildor. We have a relationship, perhaps friendship, that I have an investment in, that I want to see continue and grow. So that means that if you disappeared in the middle of the night and there was just some ominous note left saying that someone stole you, I am not going to cut ties with you and leave you to the winds. It is oddly possessive, certainly, but someone took something that I consider mine, and that is the worst possible thing they could have done. The Valiant Vanguard is I named it. I consider it mine. And that means I am very protective of it. Everyone that's involved in it, including, hopefully, these things.
You need to start looking at this group, Samantha, not as your possessions, but as your ability to free yourself from whatever's holding you down. I have found that people that obsess about possessions oftentimes have a trouble in their past.
No, roll 20 exploded.
Oh
Yep.
no!
Free yourself
Oh,
from
boy.
your roll 20.
Oh, lordy. Roll
If you
20.
continue this path, it'll all leave you. Whoop!
Yep, see? That's what happened. We all left in the middle of the night. Poof, not even a note.
Well, connection to the server has been interrupted. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Poor
Alright,
roll 20.
kobolds.
It's been under so
Your
much
name's
stress.
gonna be Persephone, and you're gonna be Gregor.
No!
I don't need that. I don't need a Luna. I'll make a new Luna.
You were saying, Quildor?
Oh, was I saying? Immersion.
You were at, your line was, you shouldn't look at us like possessed.
Line! Line!
But not your possessions, Samantha. Dare I say we are your friends? You can't possess us. You can't stop us from doing what we have been placed on this realm to do. Your direction may not be the direction that we all want to go.
I understand that, Quill. I am not one, typically, to force someone to do something they don't want to do. I'll certainly make a case for it, but When I realized Gregory wanted to leave in spite of the fact that I truly cared for him and wanted him to stay, I let him go. I can let things go. I just do not like it when things are taken from me. There's a distinct difference.
Oftentimes, when things are taken from one's person, there is a purpose behind it. The deities of this land use those instances to either teach us a lesson that we have refused to heal, or to teach us an inner strength that we did not know we had. So my question to you, Samantha, you've had things taken from you. Which lesson is it that you're supposed to learn? So get up, walk away, and go start sharpening my sword.
Okay. Good shit. And so there's nothing else. It seems like third watch would come to an end. As fourth watch would begin. Off in the distance, you could see with your enhanced vision those coming to and those maybe falling asleep if there's anyone else who'd actually fall asleep. That the silver light spreading out from beyond the mouth of the cave is growing more and more substantial in appearance, as it seems like the clouds above have actually finally parted after all this time, and the soft moonlight now slowly blending into the approaching dawn is sort of shedding a bit more light in the distance. Seems like whatever overhanging darkness was there is now almost gone. Fourth watch would begin.
Oh, good morning. No signs, I suppose, yet.
No.
Good. Good. Oh, look at him. He's sleeping like a baby. Alright, I'll keep my watch. Because I'm gonna move over to the mouth of the cave as I sort of sit down cross-legged and just start to take some very deep breath. Couple
Well, Johnny
moments, I'll
just
stand up,
broken.
start taking more deep breaths as I do some Tai Chi, as basically moving my hands in a way to draw in the breath around me, and then breathe it out. As you can almost see, like, the air in front of my mouth waver with the heat up as I'm breathing in just the heat of this place. With a little bit of my magic, a little bit of a God-given magic, and that I've learned. You can actually start to see that the wind almost picks up, almost inhumanly strong each time I give out that breath, and the heat just seems to radiate off my body as I'm acclimating myself to this. Very serene looking moment for Tamarkan.
Yeah, one of my snakes looks away from my tome of secrets and is just sort of watching you go about this process. And just something strange she hasn't seen before, so she just mentally notates it.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to do? Yay, nay?
Whoops. I am
Cause a minor earthquake. Very serene. You become a howler monkey.
No!
Yep.
Excellent.
Monkey.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, if there's
Definitely
nothing you guys want to
see.
do,
Do you see the color of my eyes just change to that strange monkey-like fashion?
Yes, the monkey color eyes.
Yeah.
all right. There's nothing else you guys want to do. The only thing that really transpires during this last watch is Tamar Khan, as you're taking in this hot air and exhaling it out. It almost feels like the heat of this place that has been radiating into your body while you've been resting is sort of now flowing. And when that air flows, there's this almost cooling sensation as it doesn't just move around you, it moves through you. And in one final breath, you inhale and exhale. Maybe it's just something you haven't really been noticing while you're doing your Tai Chi, but now as it becomes a bit more apparent, your sense is sharpening. It almost seems like with that one last inhale and the final exhale, you can watch this layer of hair on your arms, this dense forest green, almost raise up from the roots up to the tips, and you're almost like you breathe out the color as a shimmer of gold seems to return to your form.
Yeah. Not what I was expecting, but seems to have all enough. Started looking forward to being greed for a few months. Oh well.
It's certainly a good color.
So, have any different plans going forward? Is Swift she's returned. Good. Did she say what she found?
It was a straight path, more or less, from where we fought those last couple kobolds to this thing's horde. There were a few more kobolds there, and I figure that is probably his lair. And of course, there is molten rock all throughout it, so that will be fun.
Indeed. What to say, I've not been quite pushed to the edge like this in a very long time. It's quite exhilarating. Like I'm finally getting back into the swing of things. And the heat does not seem to have bothered me as much as it used to. That should be good for the truck.
Yeah, it was definitely more risky than I wanted it to be.
Indeed.
Getting that close to the edge is not something I'm inclined to do. But I do not want to sour group morale by having that conversation right now. But there will need to be some discussion in that regard later. I think we should be able to handle Obsidious, though. I doubt he is going to run away and hide in caverns and small caves. I'm sure he's much too proud for that.
Most dragons are.
Anyway, so we hunt the beast within his lair and see if we can strike him down. I will do what I can to get him distracted, but if he takes the air, I've packed a few gifts for him. Nothing that will bring him down, but you want to be able to escape my reach.
If he takes to the air, we may be in trouble.
We will do what we can. I have consulted my own magics, and I think I might have something that might work. Though I'm sure he is going to be quite hardy.
Wonderful. I can feel the excitement of this place. Makes my blood boil at times, but with it, a greater connection to what I am. And with that, greater connection to races. I think my magic should be even more effective going forward. The blessings of races. I can give them to a few of us. More than what I did before. Who do you think would need my aid the most? I've seen how you and Quildor fight. I'm not sure about the others so much.
What do your blessings do?
Like you felt before, they calm your mind, make you see things more clearly, and somewhat like an animal instinct of sorts. Makes your aim more true, and being able to defend yourself more easily from attacks both physical and mental. Although they will not strengthen your armor.
I mean, I think everyone here could benefit from your blessings.
At this point, I can only do 4 at a time. When my power gets closer to Res's, maybe more, but not at this.
Swift Hollow seems to invest all of her energy in trying to find just the perfect point and time to strike. Helping her with that is invaluable. Quildor, with his, well worked for gift from Tin and his council. She points to the spear. We need that to be getting past his scales as often as possible. You know my tricks. I need to strike true, and I do not have a whole lot else beyond that, besides a few bursts of very potent magic. Persephone and Luna do not really seem to focus too much on things that require them to strike true, just overwhelming. Pushing your form's quickness and agility or mental sharpness to the limit. I do not know if your blessing will aid them too much there, but they may be able to speak to the contrary when they wake up. So, I would think myself, Swift Hollow, yourself, and Quildor would be the way I would see it.
Understood?
Yep. It seems like while you guys are having this conversation, as the fourth watch has ended, everyone would start maybe one by one start coming to once you find yourselves fully rested for the night. Waking up to still hot earth.
Yeah, like was there a point where we saw like the sky grow considerably darker again or anything like that? Any large wing beats?
Still nice thing. If you're looking out with Tamarkan sort of standing at the mouth of the cave, yeah, looks like the clouds have actually cleared for the time being. You're seeing the very early morning 6 a.m. sky, this sort of warm orange glow with a bit of blue, sort of taking it a bit indigo color. You can actually see the rising sun in the distance, which you couldn't see the day before. But yeah, seems like it's pretty clear.
So is it a decent inference to infer that we still have time then?
You don't see any dark clouds.
All right, decent inference. I'll take it. So then with that, as people start to wake up.
Good morning, Persephone.
You're not green anymore.
I am not. I know it is a bit disappointing.
It is. But gold
don't-
still looks good on you too.
Thank you very much. I don't know about the other effects. We'll have to see once we get back into the hole to see if I can still see ever so bit farther. I doubt it though. Seems like the potion has worn off.
As soon as gets up, she'll instinctively go to like wipe sweat off her forehead, but she normally uses her right hand. What happens when she tries to?
You try to move her hand up, and immediately you feel like your hand's reaching up and coating your face like normal, but there's this weird nothing sensation, like your hand just went through your face, and you kind of look down as your eyes begin to focus, and your hand hasn't moved. It just sort of twinges in place. You realize it's still unable to move it.
Oh well, she'll still be all right.
Still no luck, eh?
No, but that won't stop us.
Does it look
Of
worse?
course not.
No, it looks the same.
Doesn't turn blue. What is a good sign?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Oh, you lost.
Aren't any of the kobolds awake?
Yeah, as I go over.
Some of them seem to sort of stirring awake. It seems like Seer is the first one to wake up, but one by one, the other ones start to come to. They're just sort of tending to themselves.
I wave at the one that I had healed, and I wave him over.
He just sort of stays put, looking between everyone in the cave, having their sort of gentle conversations, watching them do their own things, but sort of just seems sort of stuck put.
Oh. Okay, then I go to him.
As he sees you approach him, he sort of just like sits up a little bit.
Hey, how's your hand? But does it feel better? That's not I can't fix that. I don't think I can fix that.
It does not hurt.
That's good. That's good. You mentioned the fire gifted? We ran into one of them. How many more are there?
There is only one fire gifted at any time. But if one has died, another may rise.
Oh, okay.
As he says that, you can see his head sort of crane around. Did you kill him? Did you kill him?
I said I would, didn't I?
Yeah! Oh, yes! Oh! Thank you! Thank you, Samantha Deus.
But if they rise again, that means we're probably going to run into one again.
How quickly do they rise? Is it instant?
The Obsidious decides who becomes the Flame Chosen. If he learns one is gone, he may choose another.
And what's the process of this? Is it like a ritual? Does he just poke someone and bam, they're flame chosen?
Do you?
He
better
puts
question, do you
obsidian
know?
in your heart. You
sounds
fall, and then you rise stronger.
There are better
Looking
ways
outside.
to gain power.
It doesn't seem like he's back yet, which means he doesn't know it's dead. If we can get there before he realizes, he can't summon another one.
Yes, the only issue is how long it will take him to get back. We'll have to time this very well, and that's assuming he comes back from this side of the mountain.
I'm assuming as soon as we see him, we make our descent as quickly as we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are not going to give him too much time to reconcile what has taken place. As soon as we can
Wonderful.
tell he's approaching, we'll move out. Let me see this again. And she sort of gestures out for the golden amulet.
All yours.
Yes, looks like its magic has returned. This does not require too much of any attachment to anything, unlike, say, my scepter, which I have to specifically find a bit of magical resonance with. Anyone can really use this to channel a bit of inspiring magic onto any of us. But you do need to be close to us. I typically try to find myself in the midst of all of us, but if anyone else thinks that they would be able to use its power more effectively, feel free to speak up, as she sort of just looks around the group.
A bit of a double-edged sword on that. If we are around each other, we are very likely to all be cooked at once. I am going to be trying to find a location where I am not the prime target to get everyone else burned.
I'm usually close to either you or Luna, but I think the only benefit would be to either of your magics, because most of my magic isn't necessarily to hit anything.
Indeed. I try
If
to
it's
stick.
between me and Samantha, it should probably be Samantha.
I can use it for now, and if the situation changes, I have no particular attachment to it, though with its magic being similar to some other things I have, I may be able to sort of do what you did when you got that, as she sort of gestures towards your newfangled scepter. I have a few relics, all connected to Sune, all connected to light and blessings and her. Maybe I can work something together from them. I'll use it for now, though. Yes, Samantha will put on the amulet of Gleam and Zeal.
Okay. Rests around your neck. It feels strangely light and almost warm. Not the same sort of warm that comes from the stones and seems to be singeing your skin whenever you touch it, but almost like a gentle warmth, like the feeling you get when you're back home after a long journey.
Makes sense. Now you're all up. So, since we have a bit of time, I want to sort of explain myself. In the process of doing so, explain myself to them as well. She gestures over to the kobolds. So my intentions are completely clear. As she would move over to her collected group on the wall. Only like one of her snakes sort of watching behind her at the rest of the party. So, you all have been brought here by force. You come into Obsidius's lair with the intentions of defeating him, and we will do so. We have defeated the majority of the nest, including those chosen by Obsidius, as she just sort of puts down the skull encrusted in gems next to her on the ground in front of them. As she just, as she puts it down, after she puts it down, she quickly sits down cross-legged next to it, bringing herself to trying to bring herself to the same height as these kobolds. And the one blessed by flame, as she just reaches in to her folded up silken bag and pulls out that thing's still smoke emitting and beating heart. And puts it down.
You can see the seer looking it over immediately. Oh. So like almost like he's about to reach for it, but then like pulls his claws back and keeps himself in his position.
You've defeated both of them, and today we will defeat Obsidius. I have called on my own presence and magic to make you all feel fear of me. My understanding of kobolds and your own situation working for Obsidius led me to taking an easy way to gain obedience from you. But that is not what I want. And she tries to reach, pulls out like a small knife and tries to reach for the defensive kobold, the one that was hyper skittish. Let me cut you free.
He doesn't seem to stop you.
As I will cut his arm binds, and shortly thereafter his leg binds as well.
You can see immediately as that hand binds are snipped free, his hands immediately pull back and try to like grab onto something to pull himself away, but legs are still tied together. The next one, snip, his legs come free. He immediately like, pulls himself back, sort of behind the group, making them a shield.
She sort of moves over to the, leans over to the one that was the backpack guy, and cutting his legs open too as well. Or free.
Yeah, just cutting his legs open, just taking the knife in.
As you snip the legs free, it's like he finds his stance now, a bit easier to stand, and just kind of like you see his like hands like almost instinctively go up to like his shoulders to hold on to something, but there's nothing really there, so he just sort of brings him down.
What does this mean?
Here's the deal. I'll make this extremely clear and as simple as I can. And if any of you do not understand, feel free to speak up and I will explain myself further. Do you understand me? He sort of looks for recognition from the five of them.
Zasir kind of looks over the group and goes,
Yes! Yes, they do!
Your efforts are commendable, but do not speak for them. They need to understand me themselves.
everyone's kind of look at each other.
You can just nod your
Yes?
head up and down for yes, or say it, or whatever you need to do.
This is confusing.
I know. This is, I'm sure, the last thing you expected to have happen to you. I am frightening, and for that I am sorry. I am going to try to be kind and persuasive. I am...
What?
As you see Zahir's face just immediately twist as you say that.
Is this Seer's face?
Yes.
What?
Yes. I do not need you to serve me out of fear. I want you to work with me because you want to. But listen, Zasir. I am Samantha Deus. I am starting... What is the best word for you? A project. A business. The Valiant Vanguard. Now, due to my desires to prove myself and prove to Mobia that creatures such as yourself can be morally good if given the chance, I have selected you from the nest because I want to give you the opportunity to work with me. Not strictly for me, but with me. To change people's perspective. Humans and elves and everyone else who would want to kill you the moment they saw you. I will admit, we had to do much of that ourselves. But here is my offer to each of you. Work with me in the Valiant Vanguard as adventurers, more or less. I will personally protect, train, and provide for each of you far better than you were ever taken care of here. You'll be well fed, well clothed, and well armed and cared for by me and the more soft-hearted of my allies. You will be expected to follow the things that I tell you to do, but you will be treated as I treat my other comrades. You can voice concern, give me alternative ideas. You will be considered, for all intents, equals. And you will be taught the rules and customs of Mobian society and expected to uphold them. Because I will protect you from their inclination to be rid of you. But you cannot make this harder than it has to be. And that will last for 6 months, starting from when we return to our hometown, so to speak. At any point, you can come to me and voice your concerns with working with me, and if you no longer wish to do so, you will not be forced to, or punished for wanting to leave. However, you will no longer be under my protection, and we'll have to work out the best solution for you and what it is you want to do on your own at that point. But after 6 months, we'll have another talk like this, and whether or not you want to keep working with me and my friends. And it will come with changes that I'm sure you do not understand, new ways of doing things that will be difficult, but I will try to make as easy as possible. You'll also be given titles that we and the people will be working for will use to refer to you to make things easier for them. That is one choice. That is the choice I hope, truly hope, with all my heart you take. Know that if you do, I will care for you like you were my own family. On the other hand, you can turn this offer down. If you do so, there will be no repercussions. I will not punish you, or hurt you, or kill you. In just a few moments, we are going to go fight Obsidious. We are going to defeat him, and we will fight anyone in the mountain who tries to stop us. If you do not wish to work with me, you will be taken up and out of this cave when we leave from it, and you are free to descend the mountain and make your own way, and do whatever it is you wish. But if we run into you inside of the mountain, working with those that remain inside, know that you were given a choice. What is it you wish to do?
Who do we serve?
Oh boy.
To the end.
Persephone's going to twist into her ring to speak to Samantha. Maybe they just serve the Valiant Vanguard for now, until they understand what it means to be independent.
A monkey is a monkey until he is no longer. They do not change overnight. You have to understand.
And you can see the kobolds are just kind of looking at each other, confused. Zasir just, at this point, he's got like his claw scratching the back of his head, kind of like looking up and down, not confused, just almost disappointed. But they seem to be just trying to figure out that question. You can hear them muttering to each other in Draconic.
Do we serve a god? Is there a... Are we serve with each other? Is she not the master? What does she serve?
Hearing that, she latches on to it. Fine. I hear you. You serve... You serve the Valiant Vanguard.
What is this Valiant Vanguard?
As you see their eyes start like lighting up and some of the scales start to sort of frill up around their necks.
Oh, they like that.
Phew.
That is the organization I've put together. It is not one person, it is an idea. You serve an idea.
Lots of little hands rise up, except for the defensive one.
Into the ring. I think that's too complex for them right now.
It's a metaphysical concept.
Is the vanguard strong? Is it a good master? Does it frequent them with orders?
Persephone's gonna like walk up to Samantha's side and just like kind of put a hand on her arm, like just silently asking permission, like, may I? I know this is your thing. I'm not going to interrupt.
Yeah, you just like I don't know. Does your thing? Do you have to like actually use your thing, or is it just when you touch things?
I have to touch them.
And she touched
You just feel an immense wave of just frustration and agony.
My pain is sharp and constant.
It's okay to ask for help, you know. That's what we're here for.
Sure, Persephone. Whatever.
Persephone's just with a big grin. She's just going to turn to the rest of the kobolds.
The Valiant Vanguard, it's us. And we're going to fight and defeat Obsidius.
Okay.
Simple enough?
We serve the Valiant Vanguard, and you are the Valiant Vanguard.
Us.
As she extends her hands to gesture to everyone behind her.
You are all the Valiant Vanguard.
Yes.
Now that makes sense. We shall serve you.
You have multiple masters.
As you see, like, Zasir starting to, like, scratch his chin, still kind of disappointed, but as he's looking over you, Persephone, bubbly and happy.
It does not strike fear. How can you serve that which does not strike fear?
A firebolt next to his head.
I shoot the I shoot a crossbow bolt at his foot.
We'll murder one of them.
So both of you just
An example.
immediately
Persephone,
try to
like,
terrify the creature. Interesting.
Persephone smiles at Zazir.
It doesn't need to be me. That's what everyone else is for.
This new master is strong and many, but I wish to serve the strong. I wish to make them stronger and stand upon their shoulders. I shall follow.
Fine. And Samantha just lets her frustration sort of bubble up over herself at just the limitations of these strange creatures created a long time ago by masters who cared not what things wanted, only what they wanted. And she just lets herself tap into the selfishness and the lack of care for anything besides her own goals, and just stands up above all five of them, grabs a hold of her scepter, and channels her magic into her being. You do not serve the Valiant Vanguard. You serve me, Samantha Deus, and you will know never to incur my wrath, as she is going to cast Cause Fear at 5th level, targeting all of them.
Alright. Let's get some saving through. Do-do-do. See you. And you. And
Persephone's just trying to talk Samantha down, and she's like casting her magic.
We were making some progress. It doesn't really do. I think. Are you sure you're not really overreacting? I mean, I thought it was going fine.
Quilder just turns his back to the whole situation and walks to the edge of the cave.
The monkeys and monkey into these monkeys.
nice. As you can see, the magic
Monsters are
begins to channel
monsters.
over them. The energy begins to pulse and connect. You can see the resilient one grit his teeth, and you can hear like this low guttural growl that sounds a bit louder, as it seems like all of them actually have some resilience, strangely enough, whether they realize it or not. Let's see if it matters. One, 2, 3, and 4. Don't think he can even make it. Ooh. As where you at, little guy? One more. Where you go, little boy? There you are. What? Said what? Oh, there you go. Yeah, as it seems like this energy pulses throughout the room, trying to command their fear. You can see immediately Zasir, like his questioning look, immediately get twisted into this almost sickeningly happy and yet terrified expression as he seems to see you in a light that maybe others can't quite see, but it's almost like he's looking upon the most horrible thing in the world. The sort of guarded shields, both the wounded and the defensive one, seem to be shaken by the magic, but they manage to shake it away and sort of look not confused, but concerned and defensive against this magic washing over them. While the others seem to just get completely taken by the magic as well. The sort of skittish backpack wearing one sort of like almost drops whatever things he's holding onto as he starts to shake in place, as does the quiet, normal worker kobold. It seems like half of them have been shaken, but the shields still stay strong, resilient in their nature. As you can see Cicero, oh,
Yes. I'm sorry to question you, Samantha Days. I'm sorry. please do not incur your wrath upon me.
I do not intend to. I deliver wrath to those who oppose me, and I deliver aid and kindness and bounty to those who aid me. And you will aid me, all of you, as she just grabs a hold of that magic and forces it out of herself and forces it out of them, the ones that were swayed to it, ending it. I am wrathful, but I am also wonderful. As she just moves her scepter to her other hand and grabs the other end of her own presence and just quickly forces another burst of magic into all 5 of them, as she is just going to make herself seem as wonderful and friendly as possible, as she is also going to cast Charm Person on all 5 of them.
all right.
Showing them the binary of Samantha Deus.
Let's see. You. Let's just use guys. You're the average one. Do you? As the magic seems to twist and form and shape and basically reflects itself. We'll do you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. As the magic seems to twist and contort, as immediately even the defensive ones who are keeping themselves abhorred against your magic, suddenly they blink and you can see their eyes begin to light up as their jaws sort of go agape, and you can see Zasir again for a moment like disgust before it twists into just now less disgust and fear and more just excitement as all of them begin to crawl forward. Even the defensive one now finding himself strangely warmed up to the idea. See like a small smile almost being forced upon his face as they begin to approach you.
Yes. Yes, of course. Samantha Deus. A true master.
As Samantha sort of shifting her body language and facial appearance away from the look of scorn that she shows to creatures who she has no tolerance for, things that she will just get out of her way, and she switches herself to a face of pleasantness, the one that she uses when speaking with someone like Queen. Now, come. As she just sort of leans down to a knee and sort of tries to meet them closely as they come towards her.
Like Zasir, the sort of normal kobold, the inventor, and even one of the wounded dragon shield come forward. The last one, still a bit apprehensive, but can't help but smile, sort of slowly walks forward, just more like eyeing you up. As the others step forward, like right next to you, almost like children gathering to a mother.
You serve Samantha Deus, correct?
Yes, the master, Samantha Deus.
You can hear like
Don't
the other
hear
ones
that
sort of
from each
chiding
of
with
them.
each other.
Samantha Deus. Samantha Deus. Samantha Days.
Oh my god. Percy is gonna just like pat a hand on Samantha's shoulder as she's gonna sit at the edge of the cave along with Quill to get ready with her spells for the day.
Your hand pats onto her shoulder. One of her snakes, the one you'd recognize as Cody, just sort of moves around your hand and sort of wraps around the wrist of it a little tightly. You sort of just feel it sort of pull on you before letting you go.
Did that feel like bad?
You just get an overwhelming sense of resignation.
Okay.
And does the defensive one also say that he serves Samantha Deus?
He doesn't say anything. Seems to keep his teeth rather shut and clenched tight, but he's still approaching you.
All right. I'm just holding on to that magic for a little bit. You just spend some time just sort of trying to talk to these simple servant creatures, and trying to figure out if they have like what they call themselves, if they have names, etc. already.
Sure. The seer immediately calls himself by his name. He is
The seer, chosen by the great Samantha Deus.
And you have the small worker who seems like he doesn't have much on him. He doesn't really say much besides your name. He just completely says,
Yeah, I am yeah.
you have the sort of crippled dragon shield stepping forward.
I am Drakin. Named after the great creatures we once served, but no longer.
And you have the inventor who pulls himself up.
I am Pocket. I am the top layer of the deepest layer.
And the creature in the back with his teeth still clenched, just looking over.
I am Ignar. And I serve the strongest.
Who is the strongest?
As he seems to be trying to say something, but it's almost like he's kept from doing so.
The one who lives after this day.
Fine. I have proven myself to Zacia, and she sort of reaches down for that strange sort of beating smoke heart. Do not play with this, but keep it, as she puts it in his hands. And I will prove myself to you as well. So be it. You will recognize who is the strongest. Your names do not suit me. But I'll handle that later.
Alrighty. As with that, party I guess the whole conversation itself has taken about an hour of time or so. We're probably standing close to the edge. Tamarkan during this time, maybe getting close to 7 o'clock, you can see off in the distance, more northern than eastern, actually more southern than eastern from where it once left. You can see small change in the color. The normal blue morning sky that would be rising with the sun gaining color, sort of blotted in the distance. And you can see what looks to be maybe a cloud in the distance that was growing for a storm, but it continues to approach and approach and approach, a dark, ominous shadow in the sky.
Gabriel returns. We might want to hide deeper in the cave.
Indeed.
Do
Do
we
need to
go
get
now,
back to
or-
the nest then.
We should wait until he passes over us.
It will
Indeed.
take us nearly 2 hours to get to him, will it not?
It will. Maybe an hour and a half if we are quick.
We should have cleared out the whole thing, so the path should be open for us to be granted that speed.
That I can climb this stone above. You do not need to ferry me. But it will take some time for all of us to get out of this hole.
How long would it take us to all get ferried up there?
Like it took you guys about like less than 10 minutes with Persephone flying you. If you're going straight up to the edge and walking down, it would take less time. You guys spent some time going around the mountain back to the cliffside. Took about like 10 minutes to get from there to the center of the actual mouth of this volcano, and then going from down there, it was about just over an hour from the beginning of the nest all the way down to what Swift Hollow said was the end of that tunnel. So in total, like maybe an hour and a half.
I will need 10 minutes for my magic to solidify for sealing the entrance. So we should probably go and wait? I don't know.
Are we doing that before we go to feast? Sealing the entrance, at least.
But he needs to be inside before I seal off the entrance to his home.
Yes, I'm just saying, if he flies in, we see the entrance, it will still take us an hour to get to him. He may notice.
So we wait.
This is what I am wondering. I do not know how you are going to seal it. Is he going to be able to break free?
Tamarkan, my magic is connected to the spirits of nature. I am literally going to just change the shape of the opening of the volcano to prevent him from leaving.
Very well.
But if it's to last, it needs to be there for 10 minutes.
So you need him in his lair before you change it. Perfect.
We need to be inside.
Then inside we go.
And he needs to be inside too. That's kind of how blocking the entrance, confusion. The question is, do we go inside?
From my understanding,
Uh-huh.
we can get into the cave, we can hide, he will fly in, and then she can cover it.
You could. Seems like. Might be. You also hide where you currently are, wait for him to fly over, and then go in after. Depends what you guys want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
Leave
rather
it
just
to-
wait for him to fly in.
Yeah, we'll just wait for him to fly in then. Better safe than sorry. As he flies in, he sees everyone's gone, so he runs out and just earthquakes the entire mountain and we all die. Got it.
Yeah, that was not my concern, but fuck it.
Sure.
Don't worry about it.
As after maybe about 20 minutes or so, you can hear that sort of thunderous flap. You can see the kobolds in the back of the cave like instinctively flinch and look out to sort of the mouth of the cave, so their heads bobbing to and fro trying to get better view. Even though they're fixated on Samantha, there's sort of their eyes keep going back towards this opening, and then you see this large shadow roll over the mouth of the cave, darkening everything for a moment outside, and then bringing daylight back to it. And followed by it running and just hitting all of you running through the cave. This wall of heat that almost takes your breath away when it first strikes into you. As this wind blows over, and then you can hear. A few more minutes pass. You can feel it against the wall, the inside of this cave sort of resonating. And through the cracks in the stone, steam seems to shoot out, starting from the top of the wall down to the ground.
Impressive.
Eventually, everything goes still.
Okay, that was kind of cool.
Let us handle this. Yeah, Samantha is going to stand up. Still, let me see something. Does that just require my concentration? No, it doesn't. I'm just going to be awesome for like an hour. Know that I called upon my magic so you could see my majesty. That does not make it any less. As she leaves them and comes over to the rest of the group. Are we all ready to do this? I could hear that you needed a bit of time to let your magic solidify, Persephone, which is fine. I can use that time to call my magic back to myself.
Okay, so Persephone's gonna lean her turtle shield shell against the wall and just pick up her new boulet shield. We should be ready to go.
Let's do this.
The vanguard I will take as I leap out of the hole and grab onto the rock and start scabbering my way up the side of the mountain.
Perse is gonna go to the mouth of the cave and wild shape into an eagle and start bussing whoever decides to go first.
Sure. One at a
I'll go
time.
first.
Tamarkan easily making it up. It's only again like about 50 feet or so from the mouth of the cave up towards the lip. I mean, particularly you guys are going straight up and towards the edge. I guess where Tamarkan's climbing, it takes you less than 5 minutes to get people up to the edge, plant them up and down. Eventually, everyone finds himself on the edge of this mountain at a somewhat unfamiliar place. You're not approaching the same steps that led down to the path. It's more like an offshoot. There are more of these large, stabbing, spikes, one might call teeth, of stone and obsidian sticking out this large bowl-shaped top of the mountain. But you think it might offer you some cover if there were creatures around here. It's a bit more of a to walk around. But yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
eventually.
That was
Way
the
down.
thing I forgot to address. I was busy dealing with them. Tamarkan,
Yes.
are you going to be able to deal with the heat in this place?
I fortified myself a bit against it. It's become a bit more comfortable, but I did not venture west with a low wind, so we will just have to.
Do you have
Took
a
her
cloak?
about an hour to get there.
Do I have one? No.
Myself, Swift Hollow, and Persephone that have cloaks,
Yeah.
right? And then Tamarkan, Luna, and Quildor that don't.
I have a cloak.
The Drake cloak?
Yeah.
Oh.
So just
Someone gave me a Drake cloak.
Did we miscount?
Sounds
had
real
one.
confused.
I think Luna was going to get one, but she gave it to Quildor, so someone else has a third one.
Yeah, and I was wearing one.
Didn't Persephone have it?
Precipitation.
Yeah, Persephone has one.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
So
So it's Samantha and me
Persephone.
that don't have.
No, Luna didn't have one either. Again,
Or
you had three. Luna had one. She gave it to Quildor. It's like, I'm not going to take it.
Luna, Samantha, and Tamarkan
Yes.
don't have.
I thought I had one. Okay. Well, then I guess that doesn't really work or matter then.
Okay, so nothing else. You guys begin to press on from the eastern side of this mountain until eventually you come across, after about 10 minutes, the mouth of this volcano, which is much easier to see. You guys finding yourselves on the eastern side approaching. Much more visible than last time you were here. You could see all the sharp crags of the stones casting shadows into this thing. And just the way they all sort of form together, it does, yeah, at this point, it looks like this large round mouth, eager to swallow up whatever comes inside.
Alright, so Persephone, doing your thing?
We need to be inside first.
Inside, Tamarkan.
Yes. Hop on down.
Oh, yep. Easily enough, you find that path. You fall a little further, Tamarkan, but with your gentle landing, able to slap your feet against the. Wow, it's still, even though, it's daytime and
Why?
the darkness gets sort of swallowed up in the middle of this hole, still hot stone beneath your feet, but it does not impede your fall. Because, yeah, one by one, you guys get to make your way down inside the mouth of this thing. And, I mean, yeah, just being in here for a second time. Maybe you think your bodies would be somewhat acclimated, and Tamarkan's yours is slightly more. Maybe it's just having spent more time in this area than before, having attuned to the mountain. It almost feels strangely hotter in here, as if the air had just become freshly lit with fire. Oh, it's almost hard to breathe.
It's not a good sign, but we'll have to see how it goes. Everyone
Okay.
else alright?
When we get about 120 feet down, Persephone's just going to look back up at the entrance and she's going to start casting Wall of Stone.
All right. What does it look like when you cast your wall of stone?
these plates of almost chiseled crystal start to burst out from the edge, creating a sort of prism blocking the entryway, and some of them even kind of start to go across a little. How far across is this? It's about 40, 50 feet. 10 by 10 foot panels. Okay, so it's mostly they're all coming out to form a sort of point, like a sort of prism is blocking the entryway, like a cork.
Okay. Put together how that would look for good old stream view and eyes, good old Omen's eyes.
Good old stream and good old Omen's eyes. Okay, well these aren't made of squares, but since they can be tilted.
Oh, I just mean like on your map.
On my map.
Draw a picture.
Gotta draw them pictures.
All
We got a grid for you, baby.
I do have a grid. All right. Let's do the lines. Okay.
And do that, as we get down to the actual lip that opens up to that cave that we went into before, Samantha would say to Persephone to do it basically like at this height or lower, putting it down as opposed to the very tip top blocking up the exit. So that way, if we come back up this way, we can go up the spiral back up to the surface. Just put it basically so that if we wanted to, we could actually walk out from the lip onto the top of this prism. Does that make sense?
So just leave an edge of stairs. Just everything but the stairs.
Look at the little thing that Brendan drew.
Basically, what Samantha's telling you is rather than sealing the entrance of the volcano, the very mouth, you're going to go down this spiral staircase, get to the entrance of this cave. There's still more volcano going down below your path. Just fill that area, make that the cork.
Yeah.
That'll work. Yeah, that makes more sense.
All right. I want to see if those squares fill this circle. Let's see how we do.
Oh, fuck. That's
squares.
what you meant. 10 squares. Okay.
Want to see how effective this is. You've had time to think about it, time to plan it. I want to see how you put it together, baby.
I did. Let me grab my panels.
Sure.
Panel.
Because I've got... Where did they fucking go? Area effect. Okay.
Should we move out of the way?
No, fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. You can put it over your chest, so it doesn't matter. I just want to see how it fills a circle.
Okay, and they're 40 feet squares or 10 by 10?
10 by 10. Unless you're making them longer, which the spell allows, but otherwise, yeah.
And I get...
10 of them.
10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
All right.
We can jut out. I'm going to start the easy way here.
Making cubes. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sweet Jesus. I might have to make them thinner, yeah. I don't know why I thought they were bigger. I don't know. I thought the hole was smaller, I guess was my problem.
That's okay. You're looking at it now.
Rotate them. You can also rotate them diagonally, and you can also basically, like...
And it's smaller than what this opening looks like. Because again, like the spiral, remember, goes down like this. It's like the actual bottom hole is smaller than the top of the hole.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that would work then if it's smaller. So if it's like using the outer red line as kind of the base.
Oh, we could actually draw the actual spiral if he wants to.
Basically, I mean, it's still something of a straight shot. It doesn't get narrower and narrower and narrower like a funnel, but it is enough to where it adds a bit of a lip. If you're going to basically flatten the area with just these connected panels like this throughout the whole thing, essentially you'll get the full thing covered. You'll see some spots where there'll be like cracks and pivots and maybe like some small breaks within the actual form itself, but it does form what you can tell to be a pretty solid structure. Thankfully, you are surrounded by stone. And how does it look like when you create this wall?
It's like the crystals emerging from the side of them, and it looks like flat here because it's like a flat space, but the shapes go in towards each other to create a more pointed look. It's like a little roof, I guess, of sorts.
Yeah, because it's also
Okay.
three-dimensional, which is
Within
kind
it.
of hard to convey
Yeah.
with these like
That's
flat
fine.
things.
As you have these crystals sort of stretching out from these surrounding stairwell that you guys have walked down, you can see these crystals of, I'm assuming, all different shapes and colors beginning to converge, reach outward, almost network each other into what maybe 1,000 other years or so study in this world might converge to be the actual formation of how crystals form in these strange net-like patterns, connecting with each other, filling out the spaces. Again, a few cracks here and there, a few places where the stone doesn't fully meet, where you can possibly see some steam or smoke rise up against it as condensation gets lit with heat. But otherwise, you can see it's pretty solid. If one of you were to dare, like, tap your foot against it, it's pretty solid. Pretty
Okay.
firm.
We made him a nice stained glass sunroof.
We
A
did.
9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you could actually
Okay.
do them at like weird angles, like so.
Alrighty.
Because I don't think our goal was to like make
10
it airtight,
minutes.
but just
We have
like
to stay here for 10?
Yep. Or we can keep going for 10 minutes, but I think Samantha wanted the time to recoup her magic.
indeed.
Ah,
Trying to take a short
Wait a
rest.
minute. Then I will keep an eye out up above then. Dash
Alright.
back up top side. Keep an eye out. Make sure no kobolds or anything are crawling around out of the nests in these early hours.
Sure.
Keep my head down. Stealthing.
So were you guys resting outside the mouth of the volcano? Or resting in the cave? What are you doing?
I mean, it's mostly just Samantha taking the rest, so it's up to Samantha.
That's the main question.
I think we would be outside since it's crazy hot in there, isn't it?
I would hope so.
Yep.
Makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Cool.
Just
Lay
lay
down
down,
the
make sure that Persephone wasn't going to get ambushed by kobolds from the lip or anything like that. So once we see the structure is in place and it's not blocking our exit, we can just go back up.
Sure. About 15 minutes will pass as it seems like it's your first short rest of the day. Samantha, the rest of the group sort of going over their inventory, gathering their things, sharpening their blades, prepping themselves for the fight to come. Seems like after 15 minutes, nothing really seems to transpire. Let's see.
I doubted I was going to get a short
15.
rest otherwise anyway.
Okay, all right. As nothing seems to catch your eyes or ears during this time as 15 minutes pass. Eventually, you can feel your magic, almost strangely enough, Persephone. It feels like, not like you're losing concentration, but like the magic that you normally have to sort of strain to keep holding begins to almost solidify and leave you until eventually there's this weird moment that you probably never felt it before as a spellcaster where the magic you're holding onto almost like slips away from your grasp. But it doesn't fall apart. You don't feel it shatter or break. It just seems to like almost like evolve and mature on its own. And the crystal wall below you stays put.
Oh, whoa, that's a weird feeling. I think it's good. I think it's solid.
Wonderful. And it is a good sign that he has not come crashing for. Maybe he is on
Maybe
his
he
way.
hasn't noticed. Maybe it takes a while to do the fire chosen thing.
Maybe he just wanted to come home and get some sleep.
So maybe he hasn't noticed.
And they go.
As we descend.
All right, you guys make your way back into the nest. Defenses possibly raised in case whatever may face you, but as you guys carefully make your way back through this familiar place, your senses now sharpened, and Tamarcon, it becomes obvious looking through here. Blink a couple times, you might think you can see a little farther. No. Potion's gone. Potion's faded away by now. You guys continue to make your way along this
but
familiar
God.
place. Oh?
I can see farther.
Ooh.
I can see
Blinking
much
your
farther.
eyes. Ooh, interesting. Why might that be?
As consulting her tome throughout the night, Samantha needed to let go of some gifts from Medusa and call on others, calling on the divine sight of that most powerful god. No, but she is going to swap out the invocation Eldritch Sight for Devil's Sight, which I have conveniently renamed Divine Sight because we trust no fiends.
Okay. As you're blinking your eyes, this cave almost looks like a completely different place to you, Samantha. There are no shadows obscuring your vision. Only it seems like a wall of darkness that seems to sharply cut off at the edge of what looks to you to be bright sunlight. Seems like everything in here just seems to be like as if you were up on top of the volcano, able to see immaculately. But within that sight, you can see the corpses of untouched and now sort of almost bloating, and some of them seem to be cooking. Kobolds sort of nestled into the hay. Some of them now just sort of, yeah, sort of like some of them look they've been pressed up against the hard stonework so much their bodies are shriveling up. I feel like this place has gone completely untouched since you last left it.
How long do I
That's a
think
good
it would
sign.
take from going to the entrance of the hay all the way to the the last bit that Swift Hollow went down? How long do I think that would take, give or take? just
Maybe
going
about like a
straight
couple
there.
minutes. If you're just following the path you went before, maybe it's like a minute or so. If you guys are being quick about it. Actually, probably like 2 minutes.
Okay, and I have like 8 minutes of film left. As I'm gonna vlog for 2 minutes.
Sure.
through the nest, talking about the things that we fought there, and this pointing out the massive battle in the arena, etc., etc.
While Samantha does that, I asked Swift Hollow she'd take the lead. It feels too good to be true, so I want to be extra cautious.
And now
Swift
we
Hollow?
don't look like we got the shit beat out of us either, so I'd be like, oh yeah, this is where Quill stood his ground. Look at him, he looks so good. Look, all shiny, not fucked up.
What was that? Sorry.
Swift Hollow, since Samantha is just I gesture to Samantha talking to the orb, would you be able to take the lead? It feels a little too convenient, and that makes me nervous.
Are we at the beginning of the cave, or do we walk past all the kobold stuff?
We're
You guys are
just
walking
nothing here.
past them. You guys are making your way into the cave. You've basically, Samantha's got a good sight of everything. You guys are looking at the corpses in the opening area, the long pathway where you guys held the line and cut down kobolds, beginning to make your way further.
Mm-hmm. So like the hay is disturbed and all that.
It looks
Still.
like everything's been sitting as it was. Nothing seems to have moved. Basically, only the change is that everything inside here seems to be cooking that's not fireproof.
All right, press forward.
All right.
It was relatively uneventful after the kobold camp,
That's good.
so it should be fine. Prepare
Okay.
for the long trek, however.
Alrighty. You guys finally, after a few minutes, make your way around the winding paths, stepping past what are still disarmed traps in front of you. You carefully make your way through the area with your sharpened eyes, Samantha. Perfect vision in this dark place. You can actually see some of the still standing small metal points on the ground where the trap artists had left all of their waiting caltrops. And past that, you get to the camp, still desolated, no longer smoking than you last saw it. Swift Hollow, it seems like all the fires have subsided. And yeah, seems like this place has been untouched until you come around the winding paths and find yourself walking downward. And as you get closer, you can see the same things that Swift Hollow had seen. The stonework around you becoming blackened at points. It looks like cracks in the actual earth have given way, sort of puffs of soot and burning hot air. Even like occasionally, to some of your non-divine visioned eyes, the small glimmering of light in the distance where you can see fire actually sort of hanging from the tips of stalagmites as if they were burning like a candle. And it seems like they begin to pick up more and more. Walking along these paths, you can see, as you get down to where Swift Hollow once was, some of the paths begin to glow dimly in your vision. Small pools of molten earth sort of cling to the walls and the ground, bubbling and molding. And it's being here, those who aren't wearing their cloaks, you can definitely feel the stinging air beginning to sort of run along your cheeks and exposed hands and arms. Any part of your body that's not really protected is going to start feeling it as, everyone who's walking through this area, Give me a Constitution saving throw. Those with cloaks getting advantage. You'll be traveling for an hour.
Relying on my most recent experiences, I'm going to use some DM inspiration.
All right.
Do we want to be quiet sneaking through? I have some magic to lighten our footsteps.
We should be fine.
18.
There are no
Okay.
kobold holes here. Down these.
Wait, so you did have a
Quilder with his
cloak?
plus 11.
Hmm?
Me?
Yeah, Tamar Khan.
No, I used
No.
DM inspiration.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
I missed that
As
bit.
all of you making your way down, it's blistering hot. You can feel Samantha, some of your scales beginning to sort of rise up against the heat, almost trying to take more in, but it begins to burn beneath basically against the skin beneath, almost unbearably. But you're able to withstand it. You're able to keep your breath, just as Persephone, Tamarkan, and Kuldor are able to. Luna and Swift Hollow, it seems like you guys are faring a little better, but again, the air is still hot in here. Everything on your body burning, except for you, Luna. On the one part you don't feel. It seems like the only thing that has reprieve is your hand, but maybe that's just because you currently can't feel anything going through it. Getting closer and closer to the bottom of this long walkway, feeling yourselves dip deeper and deeper into the earth. At the very far reaches, you can see the dim red glow of more of this molten earth, but it pours into the room you're walking into. It seems to be spilling, almost like fire. Occasionally, you can hear a soft roar of a flame across its surface, fire skating along the actual magmic floor. As
Swift Hollow, are we almost there?
I don't know. How long have we been traveling?
just over an
Yeah,
hour.
you would know.
Yeah, you would know. You were just here, like, less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, but I didn't know when.
I'm saying like you.
Both over here. I don't know. How long have we been traveling? Come on, guys. Use your noggin.
Jesus.
You would recognize the lead-in that he just said. So if that lead-in lined up with what you saw, you could just ask God, like, "Hey, does this seem like what I saw right before I saw the horde?" He'd be like, "Yeah, that is what you saw right before you saw the horde."
Yes,
Certainly seems to be the
Kodor.
case.
Yeah. So
Should
Now
hearing
quiet your
Potions, then.
steps.
hearing that, I would say witness. Do I have to say it for each charge? No, I can just spend charges. So I'd say witness and spend. I burned 3, got 10. Let's do 3 minutes.
So,
Alright.
yeah.
It seems you could see Swift Hollow down the path you're walking, maybe about like less than 100 feet or so. You're going to be entering the edge of this great caldera, one might call it, of this volcano, where the great magmic pool and the glittering treasures you saw resting upon it lie. You guys are at the very edge of this great opening.
Well, then I
First
will
is gonna
drink my Cinder
First
Still
is gonna
elixir.
start, making sure everyone has a cinder still elixir. He's
Do you not
gonna-
know what I do?
And I will have the Potion of Growth ready to go.
First is
Actually,
gonna.
no, I'll drink that too, because that's an hour long too.
All right. Are you just chugging both at the same time?
I will chug the I'll chug the Cinder Still first. And then
Okay.
I'll drink the other one right afterwards.
Sure. What about the rest of you? We all just chugging your cinder stills? What are y'all doing? What's your prep as you're walking down this tunnel?
Yeah, so we start putting on our buffs. My buffs are Cinder Still, and then getting out the Orb of Witness and setting up the tripod for 5 minutes of recording once we enter in. I think that's it for me.
Chugging down the potion, and then, watching Quildor as he seems to pull out another potion.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that's wise?
Well, you're not supposed to drink 2 potions? Has Persephone ever told me not to drink 2 potions at once?
Swift Hollow has told you that that is a heavily bad idea because you don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, okay, then I won't drink the second
Something
potion.
good may happen, something bad may happen. We don't know because it's magic. So feel free to roll the lottery if you want to now.
Maybe wait a bit. Maybe wait until like we actually start.
I think to quote Swift Hollow, what I said earlier was like, if push comes to shove and it starts to look dire, I suppose you can drink both of the effects at once. Because whatever Hail Mary we're going to need in that situation is probably what the potion's going to deliver. If we're going to die and you get a bad effect, then I guess it doesn't really change anything, but maybe something good will come of it.
Alright, what about the rest of you? What are you doing?
I just sent yourself potion. That's all I really have.
I'm trying to keep an ear out for cause like, are we able to see into it yet, or do I have
Again,
to?
you're like walking through a tunnel, and you can see like the distant light glowing. Samantha will get better vision as she gets closer because her eyes will carry farther. But right now, you're just seeing the dim glow of fire in the distance.
No, I'm trying to keep an ear out, just feeling and listening to my surroundings, see if I can sense anything as a normal druid I be.
Sure.
I'm not
roll me
using
a
anything,
perception
it's just
check.
Persephone. Perception check. 25!
Oh, all right. As you're listening, you can hear the crackle of fire in the distance, and I mean, it takes a bit for you actually to hone in on it because it almost catches your ear every so often. The sound of the fire, all of the fires. It's hard to really describe it. All of the fires unseen but left heard speaking at once. This sort of low, growling, boiling, cackling sound as it just sounds like a cacophony of voices speaking in Ignan, all in unison, almost not chanting, but like speaking and laughing with one another in the depths of this cave. But to all other ears, it just sounds like the growling of fire.
Shall we be light of foot and see if we can get the first strike? They do not seem to be expecting us.
That would be recommended, and keep your eyes peeled. I can hear the fire talking.
Oh, great.
Interesting.
The fire talks.
The elements can speak, and I can understand them. Nothing specific, just laughter. It's more like they're just with each other. You know, like a background noise.
Unless I hear anything specific.
There's too many voices to really parse them.
Yeah.
Did you pass without a trace?
No.
Okay.
I did not. I offered, and Swift Hollow said there were no kobolds to worry about, so I didn't do it at the beginning of us traveling down to the tunnel.
If there are any long duration spells.
Well, now that we're about to,
having up,
that's probably not a
cast
bad
them
idea.
Okie dokie. So, are you guys trying to be quiet? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
All right.
Forward.
As you guys are within 100
Should
feet
I cast
of
Pass
this.
Without Trace now?
As you guys are within 100 feet, I'm going to say right now, group checks
10
are not gonna
minutes.
help you. You guys are not going to help you. You'll be all on your own for your stealth. There is no collective movement.
Okay.
All right, good luck, everyone.
I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace as we try to inch forward on all of us.
Hey, that's not bad!
Hey, 26.
All right, everyone roll me some checks. With some magic rushing over your bodies, helping to keep you silent.
What the hell is my stealth button?
Somebody wins!
Oh.
26.
Hey, me and Twitala both with the... Oh, only 28?
Okay.
I mean, if you want to add another 10, then that's a 36.
Yeah, I got a 38.
So Talis is still better despite my nat 20.
Welcome to the plus 30. Welcome to expertise. It's pretty sick.
Moving quite quietly down this pathway, moving closer and closer towards a source of heat. You guys drink your potions, this Cinderstill balm. You can feel now as it goes down your throat, this heat almost, as if you just drank like liquid pepper and cinnamon, as it almost burns going down before it soothes itself. And now suddenly you can feel the heat that's been surrounding and building in your body, slowly cooking you, escape in a breath. And it almost feels like it's not cool, but there's finally this sort of lukewarmness about you, as if you were once surrounded by boiling water. It's now becoming like gentle bath water. It is not relaxing as much as it's just a reprieve from the pain and the sort of enduring heat you've had to put up with all this time. As it seems like you've finally found yourselves away from this heat and protected, as all of you gain the benefits of the Cinderstill Mixer, giving you resistance to fire damage.
Nice.
And we can tolerate temperatures as high as 500 degrees Fahrenheit without any additional protection.
Mm-hmm.
May
As
the
with every
power of
step you
races
guys
guide me.
take, step you take, you can hear this deep looming sound in the back, not just mixed with the fire and the bubbling of the lava within. You can hear almost the sound of almost like thunder or the low roll of a fire, but it becomes more distinct as you get closer, within 50 feet or so. The long drawing breath of something great within. The air just sort of tremors and shakes. And eventually, this breathing gets halted.
What is that?
Nothing.
A smell.
No, it's not.
A smell of treasure.
As you guys make your way to the entrance, slowly but surely, of what looks to be the caldera of this great volcano. Looking inside, I'll fix your vision, Samantha. Nice.
Yeah, it seems to
You
be
can
good.
see from the furthest depths of this area the long, writhing circle of lava rising and falling in great bubbles, flames scattering and casting across its surface like a great lake of fire, giving light to what you can all see to be a great hill of treasure, maybe about 10 feet tall, spread around in this great mound, and resting before it, claws held together, almost like a master would upon his seat, a throne, but there is no throne, only the glittering gold, trinkets, chests, armor, weapons piled within, granting him a seat. And resting, now sort of lifting himself high, his head raised, scales clattering down the back of his neck, is a face you've seen before. The face of the great dragon Obsidious. But unlike before, unlike the last time you've seen this creature, his eyes, which burned and scanned across the area, no longer seem to be looking around him. They are honed in on the intruders walking down the tunnel.
And it looks like vermin have entered my lair. Fine. I've left some room for seconds.
As that is where we will end tonight's session. As these great wings
Wait, you serious?
spread,
Oh my god, it's 10. Fuck. You guys suck.
raising themselves up. You can see gold coins beginning to scatter behind him as a dragon rises itself to its feet. Several scattering kobolds now catching attention of what he speaks to, looking off in your direction. You can see them, some of them standing around the center of this great obsidian circle, glowing with what looks to be these strange, like almost fiery lights, now all turning their attention towards you. And it seems like the battle will begin. A great beast having caught eye of his prey, those who have dared to enter this sanctum of death.
Dun dun dun.
Fire
Dun, dun, dun.
and trouble, boil and bubble. As indeed, that is all we have for you tonight. As oh yeah, there goes Quildor. There he goes. Watch him as he flies into the abyss. He just went in there.
Stick and move, stick and move.
Why can't I hear the oh. There we go. As that is all we've got for you this Thursday. And oh boy, that looks like it's gonna be hell. So be sure to come in next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern to watch us fight Obsidious, the pretender. He's not the real Obsidious, he's a fake, he's a fraud. But that is not all we have for you here on Lionheaded Gaming throughout the week. We have other games as well. On this upcoming Sunday, we return to Heroes of Thylea, coming off of the heels of a battle just about to start between the Oracle's Chosen and a pack of stalking wolves, blue fire dancing in their eyes, hunting after them through the old woods, now finally making their move. They're surrounded on all sides. How will that turn out for them? Can they persevere? Or is the prophecy all for naught? And they're going to be dog food. Tune in this Sunday, right here on Lighthead Gaming at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern for Heroes of Thylea to find out what happens there. And come right on back next Tuesday as we continue on with Kingdoms of the South, with the Apex Alliance defeating, it seems, the Drow sorceress, a mage who is behind this whole siege on Hardbuckle, breaking their forces through multiple pivotal battles. Now we are coming down from a siege 1. Now there are things that need to be hashed out, and well, you want to see what happens. You don't want to miss any of it. I'm sure there's going to be some pivotal roleplay, so be sure to be here this upcoming Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern as well for that. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you're excited to watch our future games. I know I'm excited to play. If you want to continue discussing these games or your own game, or maybe talk about the latest UA or homebrew, or just kick back and share memes with myself, the cast, and other fans of Lionhead Gaming, be sure to join the Lionhead Gaming official Discord. Link to that in the chat right there for you. And you can also follow me on Twitter for hot takes about all the craziness that continues to happen in the TTRPG community, along with some of my own personal opinions about things otherwise. But yeah, that's all we've got for you tonight. I certainly hope you enjoyed it, and I certainly hope to see you again. And as always, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Hey, y'all.
Toodles! Wash your hands.
Only flush toilet paper.